Welcome to the show. Great to be with you. Thanks for tuning in. And hope you're having a good day, wherever and however you may be listening or watching the show, and whatever you may be doing. And whatever you're doing is none of my business. We're just delighted that you could tune it in. And if you're watching, thank you for doing that as well. We have a lot of people that do that. When they drift away from the radio, they'll have their handheld device somewhere and watch the show. And we shared that with a lot of people that we talked with at the trade show, and we're telling them about the technological dimensions of this show for Health Talk Radio, right? And they were surprised. You know, not very many shows are streaming out, and we stream in, too. And put people on the screen anywhere on the planet from where they call in. Doesn't make any difference. You included, you the listener or the viewer, if you so desire. But I suspect that there are not very many people that would want to do that who are an audience member. It's all I can do to get people to call just on the radio. People can't see them because of the communication app. What we call CA, communication anxiety or communication apprehension. You can't have CA do this job. And it's cold and flu season's still around, and Gary can tell you that, and so can I.
At first, I really thought it was jet lag. No. I really did.
No.
I was so Monday morning. I was like, okay, this is
no. I knew you were sick. I knew you were sick when we were getting sick in California.
Yeah, I could tell too.
Could you tell?
Yeah, I mean, you can tell jet lag. People do feel just kind of run down, but yeah, I could see that he had that kind of droop in his face, that kind of like just sickness look.
Yeah.
So I stayed far away from him.
Well, that's the same face he has when he has an argument with his girlfriend. So it's hard. I have to figure. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. If she's listening, she's gonna be mad at me.
I think it was the guy that sat in between us.
He was a strange dude, wasn't he?
Anybody that hops up in the middle of a flight and goes, "Oh, it's over. I'm getting out." And I went, "What?"
I was sleeping. You can't make this up. I was trying to sleep, and I had my Bose noise-canceling headset on and whatnot. And this kid, good-looking boy, tall, well-built, good-looking guy, young. And all of a sudden, he jostled me a little bit, and I woke up, and I could still hear. And he gets up, and he goes in the overhead rack and gets his bag, and he told the flight attendant he was getting off. And she said, "Well, how are you going to do that?" We were at 30-some thousand feet. He thought we must have landed. The boy was going to walk out the door. Well, watch that first step.
Yeah, the doozy.
He was so disoriented. He got up and he was ready to get off the plane. He was a little peculiar.
Yeah.
And then we landed, and he was asleep. And he had his head down on the tray table. And I had awakened, and I was watching Tiger Woods play golf. That's the only time I ever watch golf, is if he's playing. And he made this incredible putt. And I went, "Yeah!" real loud. And that poor thing next to me, he jumped. He raised up. I scared the devil out of him. He probably wanted to smack me. So it was an odd flight.
Yes, to say the least.
We both got
entertaining
but we both got sick. So I noticed that yesterday. I had 2 doctor's appointments, and by the end of the second one, it was around 5:30. I'm driving home. I said, "Boy, I'm not feeling good," and I could tell. I said, "Uh-oh." Sure enough, just like you, I get infected too. Here's how to call the show.
You can reach us at 877-897-8255. That's 877-897-8255. Dr. Garko's personal email is drgarko@letstalknutrition.com. Follow us on Facebook at Let's Talk Nutrition, one word. On Instagram at Let's Talk Nutrition. And subscribe to our YouTube channel, where everything is closed captioned and archived, and on there by playlist, by sponsor.
Mm-hmm.
That's growing. That YouTube channel's growing.
Good. We'll talk about that a little bit. To set things up for my guest today in this first portion of the show, Jazz Matu, Um, every time I say that name, it's such a great name. I want to share with you a study that came over the transom this morning. It's trending. And, of course, giving attribution to Honor Whitman, who wrote the piece. Because you don't want to plagiarize. Turns out that high blood pressure, hypertension, you would be amazed as to how many people, first of all, are walking around, are suffering from hypertension, and don't know it. You would be further astounded if I gave you the numbers. I don't have them right at my fingertips. I'll get them for you, though. The number of people that have been diagnosed with hypertension and don't take their medication. And what's really tragic about hypertension, it has been cast and characterized as a silent killer. It is. Make no mistake about it. It is a silent killer. The damage that it does to the endothelium of your arteries, that high blood pressure is deadly. It just is. And some people who throw medications and pharmaceuticals under the bus think twice about that when it comes to high blood pressure medication. My mom had high blood pressure. She was diagnosed in her early 40s. She lived to be 92, and her coronary arteries were in good shape when they did scans on her later in her life. They were not diseased. The arteries in her lungs were, and that's a story for another day. But she took her medication. Of course, I gave her supplements and whatnot, garlic and all kinds of things for her cardiovascular health. But taking her blood, she was very diligent about taking her meds. Now, all that being said, there were issues with taking the high blood pressure medication. There are side effects. One side effect can be death with some medications. The story that's trending today, the headline on it was "Death Risk Increased with 2 Blood Pressure Drugs." Now, in reporting on this, I am not saying that people should stop taking let me just say this up front, should stop taking blood pressure medication, or that blood pressure medications are useless and don't even bother. I'm not saying that. That's not my point of view. Scientists at the Intermountain Medical Center Heart Institute in Salt Lake City, Utah, found that people suffering from hypertension who used alpha blockers and alpha 2 agonists to control their blood pressure, those people showed an increased risk in blood pressure variability, which could increase mortality risk. The lead author on the study was Dr. Brian Clements, and they presented their findings to the American College of Cardiology scientific sessions held here in Orlando this past year, right now. So these drugs, and my mom was on more than one blood pressure medication. They can cause, as they said here, variability in pressure. And that's what you don't want. I'll give you some more details when we come back. I'll introduce you to Jasmine, too. And he'll probably have a thing or two to say about this, because he has a good idea about how to, protect your heart, protect your arteries, or otherwise try to increase or minimize the risks for heart disease and just have better general cardiovascular health. I'll have him share with you what's on his mind about that. You are listening to Let's Talk Nutrition. We're coast to coast, and we're global, and we're trying to keep the pressure low.
I'm Joy McCarthy, holistic nutritionist, and I expect more from my multivitamin. I've researched many vitamins, and what's truly different about Every Woman's One Daily from New Chapter is that it's fermented with probiotics and whole foods and gentle even on an empty stomach. Every Woman's One Daily helps you feel good every day, giving you immune, energy, and stress support, and nutrients for bone and heart health. You will notice a difference. Every Woman's One Daily recently won the Best Multivitamin Award, and I love that it's non-GMO project verified. Discover the wisdom of nature with New Chapter.
Whether you spend your free time on a treadmill, under a car, or in your garden, if your active lifestyle leaves you sore, Body Vigor's Inflammaforce may be exactly what you need. Inflammaforce has a natural herb blend that acts as an anti-inflammatory to help maintain healthy joint and mobility support. There are standardized herbs like white willow, boswellia, turmeric, ginger, and devil's claw. The vegetarian capsule promotes easy digestion and a fast-acting dissolve process. Inflammaforce includes a proprietary enzyme herbal blend full of antioxidants and flavonoids that target pain and inflammation throughout the body. Body Vigor's Inflammaforce contains ingredients that support normal, healthy joint flexibility and function, builds healthy tissue, and helps with your recovery process. So if you're tired of sore joints and inflamed muscles, Body Vigor's Inflammaforce is your answer. Purchase Inflammaforce.
If you suffer from high blood pressure, it's nothing to mess around with. It will shorten your life. It will ruin your life. It will ruin the quality of your life if left untreated. And you'll die sooner rather than later from it. That's a fact. Welcome back to Let's Talk Nutrition. And if you're on medication, you should talk with your cardiologist. This new study identified 2 classes of drugs, and I'll give you the specific names of them, that these researchers said should be avoided. One class is alpha blockers, and the drug that they focused on was doxazosin mesylate and prazosin hydrochloride. And how those drugs work is they dilate the blood vessels. Then there are a class of drug called alpha-2 agonists. One, for example, is methyl-dopa, and that targets your sympathetic nervous system activity, which reduces blood vessel constriction. Okay, so the idea is to keep the blood vessels open. Based on the results of their study, Dr. Clements and his co-researchers said that these two medications should not be used to treat hypertension. Here's the quote from Dr. Clements. Quote, patients should know what their blood pressure is, and if it's up and down all the time, which these drugs tended to do, made it highly variable, the patient should work with their physician to explore options for the best blood pressure medications that will reduce variances, close quote. You do not want your blood pressure going up and down like roller coasters at Kennywood Park in Pittsburgh or Busch Gardens or wherever there's rolling. They don't even have Kennywood Park anymore. It's probably gone. But anyway, Dr. Clemens adds that ACE inhibitors, angiotensin receptor blockers, calcium channel blockers, and thiazide diuretics are a safer option for treatment with people suffering from hypertension. He said, quote, people who are on other types of blood pressure medications have the increased risk of death, he said. The ones that I mentioned a moment ago, I'll repeat them in a second. My guest is Jas Mattu. He knows a thing or two about cardiovascular health. And he'll explain why and for whom he works and what idea he has in mind. Jas, welcome back to Let's Talk Nutrition.
Great. Thank you for having me, Dr. Gecker. It's a pleasure to be back.
What do you make of that study? This is
it's very interesting. I wasn't familiar with this study, but I certainly will look at it even closer. But again, just another reminder these days with regards to cardiovascular health, heart disease, the implications of what's going on, and medications, that many of them that do have benefits, but obviously there are medications out there that do challenge that too. Fortunately, we live in a world where there are natural products out there that one can consider and take to support cardiovascular health. But it is key. I mean, the heart disease is, a disease of blood vessels, of coronary arteries, of heart muscle, and all of these are vital in terms of delivering oxygen and nutrients to the body. And when that's obviously hindered and restricted through blocked coronary arteries or damage to the heart muscle, often results in things like angina, high blood pressure, these types of things which can result in heart attacks. So being proactive with regards to taking care of your health, and it's great that shows like your show here, which educate the public and your listeners around the world, really giving them little tips, some thoughts to think about during the day of what they should be doing, what they could be doing, and just constant reminders, because sometimes, we become complacent with things and go back to doing the regular things that we do, but these reminders from time to time just remind us, I should eat more fruit, I should reduce a little bit of salt, I should, exercise a little bit, and make sure that I'm cardiovascular, because as you mentioned, it's one of the number one killers out there, the silent killer. Unfortunately, some people don't realize they have heart disease or high blood pressure until they have a heart attack.
Well, yeah, and coronary artery disease is the leading cause of death in this country, has been for decades. Mm-hmm. And usually the first sign and symptom of heart disease is death. You have a heart attack and you, pardon me, and you drop dead where you stand or sit. What's so discouraging is that coronary heart disease is preventable, even if you're genetically predisposed. We have pharmacological answers to that. We have natural product answers to that, one of which is Strauss heart drops. Right, Jas?
Absolutely, yeah. Strauss is a wonderful natural healthcare product. It's a herbal-based product with a collection of herbs in the formula. It's a liquid formula. And this is a formula that can be taken either from a preventative point of view or from a therapeutic point of view, and it really helps to support, circulation, cardiovascular health, from the levels of sort of the heart itself right down to the levels of, the capillaries and the blood vessels, relaxing blood vessels, dilating them, allowing blood to flow through, reducing cholesterol, helping to reduce, some of the symptoms of things like blood pressure and stuff. So this formula has been around for many, many years. It's a formula that originates from over 300 years ago from Europe, and more recently was brought to North America by a company known as Strauss Naturals.
Strauss Naturals, yeah.
They're based here in Kamloops in British Columbia.
And by the way, I don't mean to interrupt you. We're headed in some messages.
Sorry, go ahead.
Kamloops, I am familiar with Kamloops. He is one of my closest and dearest friends, lives in Kamloops, and it's supposed to be beautiful there. But we'll head into some messages, and just want you to know that the Strauss Heart Drops have been around for a good while and embraced in Canada. And the product is darn near legendary up there. And the government giving a green light on that product, too.
The perfect complement to your beauty regimen? Try Form Essentials Zinnia. The finest of its kind, Zinnia offers twice as much biotin as other formulas, which has proven to unlock the vibrancy in even the dullest of hair, skin, and nails. Zinnia breaks through and rejuvenates cells internally, helping you achieve the allure of effortless beauty. Reviving your hair, skin, and nails has never been easier. This essential blend of biotin, alpha-lipoic, and hyaluronic acid, collagen, and vitamin C creates lasting enhancements to your natural good looks. Don't go on wondering. You're worth the results. This combination of ingredients can only be found in Zinnia. Pamper yourself with a proven bit of affordable luxury and start looking your best. Ask for Zinnia by name at your nearest vitamin retailer to begin your journey to restored nails, head-turning hair, and radiant skin today. For more information, visit formessentials.com.
When your alarm goes off, do you jump out of bed with excitement? Or does it take multiple alarms, a few snooze buttons, or a morning caffeine fix to get you going? These habits and daily stress cause a vicious cycle in which sleep becomes increasingly elusive. In fact, 54% of Americans report struggles to fall or stay asleep. For a better night's rest, look no further than Solace, an all-natural dietary supplement that supports healthy sleep and relaxation, so you get the rest you need to wake up clear-eyed, alert, and ready for the day. Solace has given thousands a better night's rest and the power to take back their mornings while enjoying the day ahead of them. Solace is formulated with non-addictive, scientifically proven, all-natural ingredients that support sleep and relaxation, such as melatonin, tryptophan, and 5-HTP. For more information or to order Solace, visit takesolace.com. Solace for healthy sleep naturally.
Coronary heart disease is a disease of the heart in which the inner endothelium lining or walls of one or more of your coronary arteries becomes partially or completely narrowed by the long-term accumulation, can't talk, of atherosclerotic plaque, if you want to call it that, or plaque. Welcome back to Let's Talk Nutrition. My guest is Jas Mattu. He is an educator for Strauss Naturals, Canadian company, been around a long time, been on my show a number of years on and off, and I'm glad that they're back. And just this point, and I want to ask Jas to respond to this. Make no mistake about this, and you can read my whole series on heart disease. Coronary heart disease is a direct, absolute, unequivocal consequence of atherosclerosis, an inflammatory disease process involving the gradual accumulation of plaque taking the form of these lipid-laden lesions on the inner walls of your coronary arteries. Jas, welcome back.
Thank you for having me.
The Strauss heart drops, are you able to explain the mechanism of action? Does it go after the inflammation? What does it do exactly?
This particular formula that contains garlic, hawthorn, mistletoe, motherwort, cayenne, bilberry extract, and willow bark is a very synergistic formula working on various different levels. For instance, crataegus, which is hawthorn, the hawthorn tree, the berries and the leaves, they've been known to have some amazing therapeutic properties in terms of properties that are known as chronotropic or inotropic actions. These actions basically are meaning that they will help to regulate, to some degree, the cardiac function in terms of relaxing or speeding up the heart, helping to relax blood vessels, and therefore allow, circulation to be better. I know you're a big fan of garlic and spoken about garlic for many, many years, and we all know the benefits of this aged garlic. It has some great benefits with regard to making sure that the blood is flowing well, helping to reduce plaque formation, that type of thing. And then things like bilberry, antioxidants, you mentioned there, inflammation, absolutely. We know that inflammation is a result of free radical damage, free radical accumulation leading to oxidative stress, and that oxidative stress eventually impacting tissues and endothelial linings and producing inflammation and, reducing circulation.
Sure.
So this cascade of actions are really contributing to cardiovascular health.
So you have like a constellation of herbal compounds that are doing different things.
Absolutely.
Right. And to go back to hypertension, so the listener or viewer has a very clear understanding of what's going on here with respect to inflammation. When your blood pressure is high, you're pushing literally pressure against that arterial wall, that endothelium. That scores it. Damages it. That's an injury. Anytime you have an injury, the immune system is marshaled. It wants to heal that injury. And by the way, the plaquing it will use different things to help plaster or fix, if you will, that injury, cholesterol being one of them. And so that's how inflammation gets connected to the heart, to the high blood pressure. It's causing damage to the artery, the immune system gets triggered, and it's trying to repair that damage, and that's an inflammation process, which generally is a good process, but chronically can be bad news, ending up, in this case, with heart disease or plaquing of the arteries. I just wanted to explain what the connection was, Jas, among the high blood pressure, high blood pressure, inflammation, heart disease, and then ultimately sometimes death. But nevertheless, so the Canadian government, they can be tough.
They certainly can. They certainly can. This is a product that is approved by Health Canada. It has something what we call here in Canada as an NPN, a Natural Products number down here, and which is basically telling Canadians, telling people that this is a safe product. It's been looked at by Health Canada. It's been reviewed. The studies of the ingredients have been reviewed in terms of what the claims are being made, have been reviewed in terms of the safety of the formula has been reviewed, so that people can be reassured by taking this formula that it will benefit, with regards to their health. Depending, like I said, what's going on, we certainly do recommend that people with any serious health concerns should seek the help of a health professional, whether it's their medical doctor or whether it's their natural health care.
Is the product contraindicated for any particular cardiovascular related medications?
It is not. We do recommend that if people do have any particular cardiovascular concern, obviously to seek, like I said, professional advice. But generally speaking, no, it's not. It can be beneficial to support that, and it is a product that can be taken in conjunction with medications. You started the show talking about medications that can be taken with regards to supporting that. So this is a product that can be taken in conjunction with medications, and as things improve, one could determine whether there's any possibility of reducing some of the pharmaceuticals. As you mentioned, there are several out there that do have adverse effects, side effects. So it's a product that can be taken very safely.
And is the product? I know the answer, but we always have new listeners and viewers. Is the product in liquid form, pill form, powder form? What's the delivery system?
It's in a liquid form, so it's a herbal liquid extract known as a tincture. So it's basically you're taking the required dosage just under the tongue, allows the absorption to be enhanced, and that can be done anywhere from a preventative point of view once a day, or from a therapeutic point of view 3 times a day. So it is a liquid.
Oh, 3 times a day?
That's correct. The basic dosage is 2.5 mils, and that can be taken, like I said, once a day or spread over the day, to a total of 7.5 mils, which is more of a therapeutic dose.
Let me ask you, do you know anybody, this is personal now, do you know anybody who had heart disease, a friend of yours, a relative, or somebody close to you who started taking the product?
Absolutely. Well, as a practitioner and a person who runs a clinic here, in several clinics actually here in the Lower Mainland in Vancouver, I've had hundreds of patients that have been on this formula.
Okay. When we come back, if you could share a little bit about what your patients have said to you about it, okay?
Sure. Absolutely.
All right. Wonderful. Jasmine, too, with, great company. We're trying to keep you healthy and alive.
Did you know that
My friend and colleague in Lansdale, Pennsylvania, reminded me that Kennywood Park, he said, quote, is still going. Don't mess with our childhood memories, close quote. Welcome back to Let's Talk Nutrition. Kennywood Park is the roller coasters there. We used to call them dips. That was back in the day. They were wooden, and you have no idea how much fun those. I loved them. All day long, we would go and just ride that roller coaster, one ride after another. And I was liking it to blood pressure that has high variability. You don't want it to be like a roller coaster, up and down, up and down. And I mentioned 2 drugs in this study, brand new study, that apparently the researchers say patients shouldn't take. One is an alpha blocker, doxazosin mesylate, and there's another one there, prazosin hydrochloride. They dilate the vessels, and then there's alpha-2 agonists like methyl-dopa. They target the sympathetic nervous system activity, reducing blood vessel constriction. Dr. Clements, the lead researcher in the study, said these 2 medications should not be used to treat hypertension. That's his take. You should talk with your cardiologist about that. That led me to having a nice conversation with Jazz Matu. And, yeah, the Strauss Naturals company has their Strauss heart drops. Jazz, welcome back. We have a caller from Tampa, Florida. Dell lives in Tampa, Florida. Dell, welcome back to Let's Talk Nutrition.
Good morning, Doc.
How are you?
Roy?
Yeah. It's Roy.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
That's all right.
We have you as being somebody else. When you left that witness protection program, you changed your name.
Oh no, my cover's blown.
Your cover's blown, my man. Go ahead.
Head back to New York.
Go ahead.
Doc, my question simply, I've tried the heart drops. I'm very impressed by everything you're saying and so forth. So I tried it and I gagged. I couldn't do it. Is there any research going on to encapsulate somehow?
Okay. So the garlic taste was a bit. Now you know what's odd about that, Roy, is I've had people tell me how much they love the taste. In fact,
yeah,
what they
thing, I'm sure
it is, and they put it on their.
Literally gagged, and I couldn't do it.
You can mix it with water, a little bit of water, or that's another way to do it to cut that garlic taste. I've talked to people, they'll put it on their food, on a salad or something like that. They find and they like the taste. It's garlic. Jazz, you have any response to Roy? He loves the product, but.
Absolutely. Well, Roy, let me see if I can help you out. I understand. I mean, it is. Now, first of all, it's important to realize, and hopefully in the U.S. you guys have, because there is the original, which is a formula, which is the garlic. It has the garlic in there. Now, the other formula that we do have is we do have one also, the original formula, but with the addition of cinnamon. Cinnamon does help to sort of take the edge off the garlic.
I've heard good things about that product.
Yeah, so it's a great product. So if it is available there in the U.S.,
it is.
Definitely.
I saw it in I saw it in a store the other day.
Great, Roy. So
VDC,
definitely.
Doc?
Huh?
You saw it in VDC.
Yeah. You can get it at Vitamin Discount Center in Tampa, Florida, and other Lansdale. They'll get it for you. It has cinnamon in it. I have talked with people, and they told me that they like that because Jazz is right. It sort of cuts that garlic taste for them.
Absolutely. So the cinnamon
into a protein drink in the morning.
What's that?
Could I put this into a protein drink?
Sure,
in the
you
morning?
can. You can put it. You can put it in your martini, brother.
Yeah. So Roy, in actually any way that you can really take it, and Dr. Gecko had a great point. You can mix it in with a bit of water. You can get creative. The key thing is getting it inside you. And I understand that sometimes taking it on its own, it's an acquired taste. It may not, but certainly first thing is try the cinnamon flavored one. It really is amazing. And secondly, look at some options. If you need to put it on a square of bread, just put it on there and consume the bread. Eat the bread, a piece of bread or something like that. Or if you want to mix it into, something that a piece of food, if you want to put it into your smoothie or into your protein drink, any way that you can really get it in you is going to be, because those herbs are going to obviously enter your body and have the therapeutic action. So just experiment with a few different options as to how you can definitely take it. But it is, you've heard about the benefits of what it does. Definitely. And
it's just it's an acquired taste. And there's another thing you can do, Roy. In the health stores, they sell capsules, the gel caps that are empty. And you can get a little syringe, or not a syringe, but a eyedropper or something, or however, and take it and put it inside the capsule and take it that way.
It would dissolve the capsule immediately?
No. Well, no, not before you swallow it, no.
Okay.
Because I've done it. I've experimented.
Thank you for the advice. Excellent. I'm going to certainly go over and try it again.
You have high blood pressure, right?
Right. I do have high blood. I average around 130 over 80.
All right. Well, you're managing it. Do you take medications?
Yes, I do. I have 2 drugs that I take religiously every night.
Yeah. Well, you continue to do that, man. You've done well with it. You've managed your blood pressure very well.
Well, yeah, exercise, going to the gym, and so on. By the way, I had my closest friend lived up in Nanaimo up in British Columbia.
Oh.
Yep, Nanaimo, that's on Vancouver Island there, so
right.
Yeah,
all these remote places, but they're absolutely beautiful, right, Jazz?
They are. It's the reason why we're called beautiful British Columbia.
There you go. I mean, he was raised with me in New York City, and eventually just made his way out there.
Yeah.
Hey, so Roy, listen, if that witness protection program doesn't work out there where you are, then BC welcomes you to either Nanaimo or Kamloops.
They'll never find you there. It's too cold. They won't go.
Yeah.
I wear a fake nose and fake mustache,
Well, thank you for your call, and it was nice to see you at the health fair. Thank you so much. It was good to see you, my man.
Doc. You're looking good as usual. So
thank you, man.
See you there too.
Right, we got to have that Hollywood look, right? Take care of you.
Now that we're in our 70s. Yeah.
Absolutely. You kidding me? Take care of yourself, pal. Jazz, thank you so much for being on. Thank you for addressing his concern.
It's always a pleasure.
It's our pleasure as well. And we didn't get to some of your experiences with your patients, but
we can share that for the next show.
Sure.
For the listeners and stuff. Absolutely.
Sure. We'll cue that up for next time. In the meanwhile, Strauss Heart Drops. Go to StraussNaturals.com. Strauss Heart Drops sold in fine health stores throughout the United States and Canada, otherwise North America and other places in North America. In the meanwhile, take care of your heart. Take care of your cardiovascular system. It is, high blood pressure is manageable. Manage it. Use the Strauss Heart Drops. We'll be back for the second hour. Don't go away. Welcome to Let's Talk Nutrition. Thanks for tuning in. Great to be with you. Hope you're doing well and fending off the cold and flu viruses that are swirling around in the ether. If you tempt it and put yourself in situations where you can get sick, you will most likely get sick. So we traveled to California last week, and on an airplane, not as much sleep as you like, walking around all day, lots of stress. You get a little immune suppressed, and what do you become? A target. And Gary got sick. I noticed on the way, when we were in California, I could tell he was not well. And we got back on Monday. He thought it was jet lag. I didn't say anything. And then yesterday, around 5:30, 6 o'clock on my way home, I realized that I was also infected. So I'm not up to 100. I'm not 100%, but I haven't been 100% for a while. So we're doing okay. We're still hitting 310. Baseball, that's the only place on the earth where if you are successful 25% of the time, you can play in the major leagues. If you 250, you can hit 250 and a good fielder, you're going to play ball. Right? So that means 75% of the time you fail. How about that? Right? And that's why, I love watching baseball for no other reason than that. And you see these hitters trying with 310, 315, 365 average. That's amazing. Great success. A third of the time you're successful. Too bad it's not like that with our health. It doesn't work that way. It's got to be the other way around. You got to be more successful 75% of the time and allow a little bit of, room for nutritional and lifestyle violations that people will commit. I don't care who you are. But then again, there are a few who run the straight and narrow, and boy, they stick with it. Got to admire that. One of my good friends and colleagues over the years has been Brenda Watson. Dr. Watson came on to this show years ago. At that time, she was with Renew Life. Now, she's been in the world of natural health and the natural products industry for decades, and always has, represented the profession and the industry very well, but also herself as a professional. Lots of people walk through the corridors of this show. Trust me, a lot. We see them, you hear them, and you see them because we can stream them in. And some are better than others, some, in terms of their performance on the radio, and some are better people than others. I'll never do that. I'll never share that on the air, because you get to know people. Some of them are just so stand up and wonderful. You couldn't find better people. Dr. Watson, Brenda, is among those. I have a lot of respect for her, a lot of regard for her. And it's not as if it's been a cakewalk for her. This is a woman who's made it in an industry that's very competitive, very tenacious, competitive type person, but never lost her humanity along the way. Always takes time. I've seen her at trade shows. She'll sit there and talk to people for hours on end. That means something. It means she cares. Yes, she's a businesswoman. Yes, she's trying to make it. Yes, that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. It's how you do it. I thought I'd share that with you. And I don't need to ingratiate myself with her. I've known her. She's my friend. She's my colleague. But I wanted you to know who she was, at least from my perspective. But you pick it up when she talks on the show. And she's going to talk today. Dr. Watson, welcome back to Let's Talk Nutrition. It's great to have you on.
Oh, I'm glad to be here. Glad to be here today.
Yeah, it's a little respite. We're that, when you've been on the turnpike for a long time and the rest stop, that's who we are.
Yeah.
We have a nice rest stop. We got trees. We got a fountain. We have healthy food in the machines. Yeah. Nice benches. You can sit down and relax. We're that rest stop. How you doing?
I'm doing well. I'm doing really well. A lot of good things going on. We'll talk about some today, but I just really doing okay. I have not been subjected to the illness yet.
It's out there. I thought I could escape it, but nah. I didn't get to see you at Expo West, and I apologize.
That's okay. That's okay. I wasn't there long. I had a book deadline this year, and we'll talk about that today. And it was critical that I get this book finished because I had a commitment. You know me. I had a commitment to a long-term customer on this book, and so
you needed to get it done.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, it was insanity for like a week. Insanity. But anyway, it's done. I have it, and I'm going to talk about it. And
okay, so I went on to PubMed, and I could go to Cochrane. I could go to several other databases, and I typed in pets, humans, health, and got thousands of hits. There is so much literature on pets and how the health benefits that they confer on humans, or how that happens in our relationship with pets. It's just astonishing the amount of research that has been, serious scientific research has been devoted to humans' relationships with pets of all kinds, dog, cats, birds, you name it. What do you make of that? What do you make of that?
Well, I think that, everything has its timing or time, like with us in natural health. It evolved over a period of 25, 30 years, 40 years. And I think with I guess it's timing with the amount of people that now have brought pets into their homes as a family member. But that's been going on forever. But now there's more and more and more of these people, whether it's a millennial, a baby boomer, or whatever, because they bring two things. They bring happiness and they bring love. And I think that those two things, Dr. Garko, are what we all strive to bring into our life. I don't care who you are.
It's funny.
Got love,
go ahead. No, please.
Or happiness. If you've got love and happiness in your life, and those furry animals bring that to us, whether it's a cat or a dog, they bring that into our life. And I think now that people are having more and more of these into their life, that we're just getting more awareness around it.
There is a whole body of science, especially in psychology, on happiness. And the humanistic psychologists in that realm, the psychologists that embrace the humanistic paradigm, people like Martin Seligman and others, have devoted just a lot of work to the whole notion of happiness and what that means to people. It's funny you said it because you didn't know what I was going to ask you, and you said happiness and love. My goodness. And you know what? With the pets, it's unconditional.
Right.
Absolutely. It's unconditional.
You're absolutely correct.
I've seen people, and so have you, and many people listening and watching the show may have experienced it themselves, where the pet has to be put down, and they are devastated. It's like losing a family member. It is. It's just remarkable how the pets have been all through our evolution. This is not a new phenomenon, but caring for your pets in a way, I often end the show, your health is your wealth, and your health is the wealth of those that care about and love you. That not only applies to humans, it also applies to your pets, because when they're healthy, you're happier. We'll be back.
Almost 52% of men experience erectile dysfunction and benign prostatic hyperplasia. If you've had challenges with virility, sexual health, or low energy, Body Vigor's Alpha Extension may be the answer for you. Body Vigor's Alpha Extension can help revitalize your alpha male and extend your love. Our formula is one of the highest quality nutraceuticals available, formulated to support the processes involved in promoting a healthy male sex drive, energy, and stamina. Alpha Extension has 2 powerful herbal blends, Virilla Max, which focuses on male sexual health, and T-Pump Activator, which helps balance your testosterone levels. Revitalize your alpha male with Body Vigor's Alpha Extension, exclusively available on Amazon.com.
Watson is my guest in this portion of the show. Dr. Watson, all through the years, even though she was talking about human health, once in a while she would come on and talk about pet health because her company at that time, they did sell some pet products. And now she's all in. She's all in with the pets. And, pardon me, and that's good. There's so much interesting material out there to read. All kinds of articles the one in National Geographic that I was looking at entitled, "We Didn't Domesticate Dogs, They Domesticated Us." And it tracks and traces the evolution in our relationship with wolves and how that worked out. And yeah, there's a lot of truth to that. The animals, we think we domesticated them. Maybe they did domesticate us. And we need to take good care of them. And Dr. Watson has some great ideas about how to do that, just finishing her new book that's caused her more stress than she probably bargained for, but she got it done. And it's on pet health, right, Dr. Watson?
Yes, and one of the things I want to say, which is a great, I guess, that shows that your show is doing its job, is after the last show, I got people calling in saying, "Oh, she talked very briefly about cats, but I didn't get the cat part. Does she have things for cats?" And before we got into the dogs today, I just want to say this. Yes, we are species specific, meaning that we make products specifically for cats and specifically for dogs. Just want to say that because of the call-ins from your show.
Okay.
Where people are like, "I want something for my cat."
Okay, well, we'll get to that. So canaries and parakeets and whatnot.
I don't have that yet.
Okay, so dogs, cats and dogs. What's the title of the book?
It's called Brenda Watson's Natural Pet Care, Long Life for Your Best Friend, Joint Pain, Anxiety, Digestive Problems, Skin Disorders, and I co-authored it with Dr. Joel Murphy, who's my very good veterinarian friend.
Oh, good.
And it's 4-color, like I always do.
I know.
And it's tips, and it's also, Dr. Garko, today people are so busy, and they don't want to read something that looks like a textbook. I don't either.
They don't. They want to. It's got to be entertaining. I understand.
Yeah. So I made this very entertaining. It's flowchart. It's tips. I mean, there's writing in it, obviously, to read.
You know what? You know what your books are like? Your books are like the way you dress. Very, very tasteful, very colorful, always tasteful and nice. Yeah.
Thank you.
You always show up. You always show up right. It's funny how that carries over. I noticed that over the years. You always put together. You always dress very tastefully. Your books are the same way, very tastefully done, color. You know how to reach the consumer.
Well, thank you. Well, if anyone picked up a newspaper this weekend, on the cover of Parade magazine, you can pull that up. There's this picture of a dog. It's the title of it is "Oh Baby." our crazy love for our dog, "Oh Baby." And so it's got this dog there with its head in a turban with 2 cucumbers on its eyes, like a spa, wrapped all up in pink.
Oh, for heaven's sake! Do you have pets at home?
Or
oh my land! Do you have wardrobes for your pets?
No, mine. I don't. Now sweaters, but for the winter, something to cover them, but nothing like I don't dress. I don't have time to do that.
I mean, have you ever been in Manhattan and see the dog walkers, the professional dog walkers walking all these dogs? Some of those dogs are better dressed than the people walking the dogs.
No.
They got high-end. They got these high-end garments on the dog. I'm thinking they probably paid $300 for that little jacket on the dog or whatever they got on the sweater. The Gucci sweater on the dog. I'm thinking, my God.
I know.
As if the dog knew it was wearing a designer garment, right?
Right. Well, you know what? $70 billion a year in this Parade article. It's now reached $70 billion a year that we're spending on our dogs.
70 billion?
70 billion. Billion.
Oh my land! What are they buying?
Everything from specialty help from specialty foods, of course, which is the biggie. Clothing, supplements, which is what we talk about, supplementing their diets and keeping them as healthy and creating longevity. Of course, veterinarian comes in there. So it's just a wide range, but they don't think twice about picking something up for their dog or cat and it costs, like you said, a Gucci outfit. Not everybody can do that, but still, even people. I have people who are not well off. Let me just say that, not well off. But they make sure that their dog or their cat gets absolutely the best foods, and make sure that they're well exercised, and they just take care of them like they would a child. And I think that has a lot to say about what I said in the very first of the show about love and happiness. I think they want to create that, and so part of that is, Dr. Harco, we're not getting any younger, me or you or any of us. And as you know, as we get older, we start to have issues. I don't care what you've done in your life, you'll have some issues.
Hold your thought. Great point. I've mentioned that many times on the show. We'll pick that up on the other side of these messages. You're listening to Dr. Brenda Watson on Let's Talk Nutrition, coast to coast and globally.
Almost 52% of men experience erectile dysfunction and benign prostatic hyperplasia. If you've had challenges with virility, sexual health, or low energy, Body Vigor's Alpha Extension may be the answer for you. Body Vigor's Alpha Extension can help revitalize your alpha male and extend your love. Our formula is one of the highest quality nutraceuticals available, formulated to support the processes involved in promoting a healthy male sex drive, energy, and stamina. Alpha Extension has 2 powerful herbal blends, Virilla Max, which focuses on male sexual health, and T-Pump Activator, which helps balance your testosterone levels. Revitalize your alpha male with Body Vigor's Alpha Extension. Exclusively available on Amazon.com.
89.7 million people own dogs in the United States. 48% of Americans own a dog. 38% of dog owners are millennials. How about that? 31% of dogs own clothes. What'd I say? And I hadn't seen this, read this article in Parade. Dr. Watson referenced it. 11% of all dog owners throw birthday parties for their dogs. Why, hell, I can't even get a birthday party. 60% of dog owners, they're afraid to light the candle for fear of burning down the building. 67% of dog owners say their dog relieves stress. I believe that. 44% of dog owners have made provisions for their dog in their will. My land. 23% of millennial dog owners throw birthday parties for their dogs, as I said. And 50% of dog owners give Christmas gifts and Hanukkah gifts to their dogs. I'm not making those statistics. Up there in that Parade article that Dr. Watson referenced in Parade magazine this past Sunday, oh, baby, our crazy love for our dogs. The cutest, if you're watching, it's the cutest. The dog has sunglasses on, a turban. It's like at a spa. I dare say, Dr. Watson, these dogs get better care than we do sometimes.
I know.
So you were saying you don't care, and the point you made, I've made on my show a number of times. You said I don't care who you are. Sooner or later, you're going to have. I'll put it even more in a more stark way. You're going to get sick. Something's going to happen, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes, absolutely.
And why were you making that point?
Well, I was making it because I think, looking at us from a human perspective, and like you had said earlier about the domestication of our dogs and cats, and I said one of the things that we want to see, because they do bring so much into our life, and it is traumatic when they pass, but is we want to see them age in a graceful, I guess the word is graceful, and in a healthy way, and not end up in a lot of pain. I think that word pain is a good word to use, and that's one of the things we strive at Vital Planet to help with, is to help, let's say, our dog or cat to age and give prevention, because that's really what you're about, Dr. Garko, really. I mean, certainly we have a purpose, your radio show and what I've done in my life, a purpose to help us humans age gracefully and less painfully. But, however, we're all going to have those kinds of joint pains and things aren't quite right, with their health. And so I think with our animals, what we want to do is we want to make sure that we can do everything that's reasonable, and some of this stuff is really outrageous, but some of the things that are really reasonable, and the things that you find in your life and I find in my life that's reasonable are what we eat and what supplements we take and what kind of exercise we get. If you can boil it down to those three things, that's exactly what we're doing as humans, that we have to now start looking at our pets and saying, okay, well, the food is deficient in many ways, just like ours. We have to be conscious of that. And there are ways that we can supplement the animal's diet with enzymes, probiotics, and all that can help with them aging more gracefully and not ending up with joint stiffness and pain and all the things that ultimately happen.
You're listening to Dr. Brenda Watson, her new company, Vital Planet. Go to vitalplanet.com. Right now they focus on supplement products for dogs and cats only at the moment. Dogs and cats only. Not alligators, not parrots or parakeets. Not wolves. Well, maybe wolves a dog. Yes. Some people have wolves for pets. You have to know what you're doing though. So it's a great company, and I know that Dr. Watson brought all of her insight into the formulation of dietary supplements for humans, and what makes raw materials good raw materials, and so on and so forth, and applied it to making products for pets. What is the top 2 or 3 complaints or questions or issues people always ask you about relative to pets, whether it be dogs or cats?
Well, the number one thing is hip and joint and flexible problems. The other one is, of course, the whole thing that has been my mantra for years, and that's gut health because of, GI problems. And then thirdly is skin problems. I mean, itching and allergies, because unfortunately they develop the same ones we do. They just exhibit them differently, in dogs and cats than we do. Like, well, not really. I mean, we get runny nose and dry eyes and ears, and they tend to exhibit it more on their skin with skin itching and licking their paws and things like that. So I think those three things, the skin, the GI tract, and then the hip and joint, are the three major areas in which they begin to have problems. Now, my whole focus in this book is going back to gut health with probiotics and enzymes, as you know, and also educating the public on how to feed your dog properly. And also, there's new things out every day. The Vet Association has now put out new guidelines for vaccination. Who'd have thought that we've probably been over-vaccinating our dogs, and now there's new protocols for that. That's totally not my call. That has been developed by the powers that be.
Sure.
So we have new ways of being able to not over-vaccinate our animals.
You're listening to Dr. Brenda Watson. Dr. Brenda Watson, of course, many of you have known her. She's made her a reputation and helped so many people over the many years with their digestive health. And she's a digestive care health expert and always has been, and now has taken her talents and turned it toward our pets and helped doing some of the same things she did for humans for pets. And again, the title of your new book that will come out?
It's called Brenda Watson's Natural Pet Care, Long Life for Your Best Friend. And then on the front is like talking about joint pain, anxiety problems, that's big, digestive problems, and skin disorders, because those are the four things. Now, the book has just come into the warehouse, by the way, and it will be in the stores. Just like I said last time, it'll be in health food stores. If you want to go online at some point today, it'll probably be up on the website. But this is just really seriously hot off the press from yesterday.
Sure.
So I'm so excited.
I'm sure you are, and congratulations. Brenda Watson's Natural Pet Care is the short title. You'll find it that way. And we come back, I'm going to ask her for dogs and cats, what would be a basic protocol that people might want to consider for their pets under the assumption that, what they're feeding them, the food, is at least reasonably healthy. But what would be the dietary supplement protocol for pets? Maybe it's really two. For pets that don't have an optimal diet, and maybe for pets that do have one. Maybe it's the same protocol, I don't know. But we'll explore that, and we'll have the LTN health question of the day. Dr. Brenda Watson on LTN, coast to coast and globally.
Are your joints feeling out of date and stiff? Is that old sports injury flaring up? Is your body aching from the daily wear and tear at work? Body Vigor's Joint Ready keeps you at the ready for any joint pain that gets out of line. Unfortunately, as we age, joint pain becomes more common. Body Vigor's Joint Ready can help provide relief so you can continue to go about your day. Our formula contains sulfated forms of glucosamine and chondroitin. Studies show that these sulfated forms are more effective than regular glucosamine bound to hydrochloride. Joint Ready promotes a healthy inflammatory response, facilitates cartilage synthesis, and provides additional antioxidants. Keep your joints at the ready with Body Vigor's Joint Ready, exclusively on Amazon.com.
the LTN health question of the day. I'll make it simple today. A nice true and false question. Now, life expectancy among dogs in particular varies by breed. We know that. Different bigger dogs, some, for example, tend to live shorter lives for different reasons and depending on also location, where the dog lives. Some places are more hazardous to their health than others. Yeah, well, that's a story for another day. Nevertheless, is this statement true or false? Generally speaking, dogs now live twice as long as they did 40 years ago. Is that statement true or false? Dogs now live twice as long as they did 40 years ago. If you have the right answer, you'll win a $25 supplement gift card. Here's the number to call to win.
877-897-8255. That's 877-897-8255.
So, Dr. Watson, what would be a basic supplement protocol, let's say, let me put it this way, to keep your dog's nutrition optimal?
Well, I have an acronym, and you know I've used it for years in human health, and I've translated this over to our pets, and it's called the HOPE formula.
Oh, yeah.
We've done this formula for years. It's called, you want to increase, we call it higher fiber in their diet.
Yep.
So you want to increase their fiber. You want to add in the omega-3 oils. That's the O part. You want to make sure they get a high-potency, multi-strain probiotic, not some of these, 300 million, 100 million probiotics. They need gut health desperately because their vets are giving them as many antibiotics as the doctors give us and steroids and things like that. And then the E part is enzyme support. So adding in enzymes into their food, because you know what, Dr. Garko, it isn't what you eat, it's what you absorb. And if your digestion is compromised because your probiotic levels are low in the gut or your pancreas isn't producing enough digestive enzymes, then you don't convert the food into vitamins and minerals and antioxidants.
The nutrients, the basic the building blocks of the food that you ate. We have a question from in Tampa, Florida, from Dell, right on the point that you're making about that HOPE formula. Dell, welcome back to Let's Talk Nutrition. I know you've called before. Thanks for calling.
Hi. That wasn't me before. But I was curious, do the probiotics or the bacteria in dogs and cats, are they the same that are in humans?
No.
In other words,
that's a good question. That's an excellent question.
Probiotic?
Short answer is no. Tell them why, Dr. Watson.
Okay. Cats and dogs are very different. That's why we have cat probiotics and dog probiotics. Cats need very different. Dogs have a very similar microbiome or gut bacteria as their owners do, but there are certain strains that are specific to animals, and that's why we have it in the Flora dog. But the Flora cat is very different because cats have different health issues, and their bacteria is very different than a dog.
Isn't that interesting?
I was very curious.
Yeah. What would happen if a human mixed up the dog probiotic and took it instead of the human probiotic? What would happen?
It wouldn't hurt them at all. As a matter of fact, since they have a similar microbiome as their owner, it wouldn't help them at all. And even the few strains that are animal based and have been clinically studied, they wouldn't hurt you. But it's better to give a dog like the Flora dog instead of a human probiotic because the studies had there's a strains in there that have been clinically studied specifically for animals.
The product is called Flora Dog by Vital Planet or Flora Cat by Vital Planet. What about the Pardon me. What about the enzymes? What is that called? What are those products called?
It's called. We have Digest Dog, Digest Cat, and we have Living Meal. And always with cats, we do powders, so you can sprinkle it in their food. I couldn't imagine giving a cat a pill or anything. But the dogs, we have different delivery systems. But it's Living Meal that can be added to their food, and we have a powder, Digest Dog, and Digest Cat that can be added to their food. The Living Meal, which is lovely, has the probiotics, enzymes, and nutraceuticals, antioxidants, superfoods in there that are specific to dogs and cats.
What do you do? Is that a powder and you mix it in with their food?
Yeah, you mix it in with food. And just a little tip with cats, you should be feeding your cat 1 meal a day of wet food. That's how they get their moisture, and that's why they end up with digestive problems, and they get a lot of constipation issues due to only eating kibble. And if they only eat kibble, cats don't drink water like dogs do, so they get moisture from food. So adding that into their food is essential.
Very good. Dell, thank you for a great question. That was an excellent question. Thank you so much. Let's go to Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Carl, welcome to Let's Talk Nutrition. So, is it true or false? Dogs, generally speaking, live twice as long now as they did 40 years ago.
It's true. They live longer now.
They do. They do live longer now, twice as long, and it's due to the better care, better food, better medical care, and so on. And after all, when you're dressing the dog in Manhattan, that has to make a difference with a Gucci sweater, man.
Oh yeah.
Carl, congratulations on winning the $25 supplement gift card, and we thank you for listening to the show. We appreciate your listenership.
Oh, you're welcome.
Thank you. And so, Dr. Watson, your book, Brenda Watson's Natural Pet Care. That's the short title. You'll find it. It'll be on your bookshelves. You'll find it bookstores and health stores. I dare say it'll probably be on Amazon at some point. And usually Dr. Watson's books are very entertaining to read, easy to read, colorful, insightful. She knows how to summarize and pull things together. It's not tedious. So, yeah, Brenda Watson's Natural Pet Care. Dr. Watson, thank you so much for being on the show today. We appreciate you.
Thank you, Dr. Carco. I love being here.
Well, we love you, and we love it when you're here. How about that?
Okay. I'll see you next time.
All right. We'll look for you. Brenda Watson's Natural Pet Care, vitalplanet.com. Visit their website. I can assure you, if Dr. Watson's involved in a project or a company, quality will characterize it. No doubt. No shortcuts for her. Thank you for listening to the show today. We appreciate, as I said to Carl, we appreciate each and every person that listens and watches this show coast to coast and globally. We do not take that for granted, and we're here because of you and for you. That's the purpose that we have on this show, right? For all of us so that we can do better with our health, which is absolutely our wealth.
Have you